Hamas, with the help of Qatar and several other anti-Semitic and anti-Israeli entities around the world, have been on a turbocharged campaign to smear the image of Israel. Do we need to start again?
Yeah, keep on going.
To smear the image of Israel around the world. There are images of starving children coming out of the Gaza Strip. There are These are circulated around the world. They're broadcasts around the world, all with one agenda and one agenda only, to make it seem like Israel is the villain, the victims. That is the goal of this ongoing campaign. We're looking at a global scale smear campaign against the state of Israel, and they're stopping at nothing, including circulating images of children that have been starved in Yemen or in other campaigns around the world, but not in Gaza. And this has been going on for days. Let me start again. We're looking at a war that we haven't faced in a really long time, an ongoing anti-Semitic, anti-Israel campaign full of false facts, full of fake news, full of AI-generated images, and lies more than you can imagine about what is truly happening in the Gaza Strip. And what this is nothing less than a propaganda campaign, all intended at making Israel look like the villain and the people in the Gaza Strip look like the victims of the evil Israelis. And that couldn't be any farther than what is really happening. Let me be very clear here. Hamas has hijacked the people of Gaza, and they've done so with the aid of some well-intended and many poorly intended people around the world who have hijacked the attention of the world to try and twist the conversation and make something that isn't happening in the Gaza Strip seem like it is the news, to shift the conversation from a ceasefire agreement and a release of hostages to a conversation about why is Israel causing starvation in the Gaza Strip. And it is a lie. And in this live broadcast, we're going to explain exactly what is happening. By the way, guys, if you're joining right now, welcome to Boots on the Ground Live. I'm Mati Shoshani here at the TBN Israel studio in Jerusalem, and we're talking about the propaganda campaign to smear Israel and claim that there is intentional starvation in the Gaza Strip, a lie spread by Hamas, a lie spread by Qatar, a lie spread by liberal news outlets around the world, all with the intention of propping up an anti-Israel and anti-Semitic agenda and falsifying the facts of what's truly happening on the ground in the Gaza Strip. And this propaganda has real consequences. There's diplomatic pressure that's mounting against Israel, including declarations by the French government and the British government just in recent days that they will unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state over the head of Israel, including anti-Semitic attacks taking place around the world against teenagers in Greece, against people at a concert in Cyprus, against a guy swimming on the beach in a different location in Europe. Just time and time again, attacks against Israelis. And I want to tell you what the truth is here before we dive deep into this content. Since this conflict has started, in October, actually since October 2024, we're talking about more than 42,000 truckloads that have entered the Gaza Strip. We're talking about hundreds of trucks per day with aid that are entering the Gaza Strip, many of them, and hear me here, paid for by the Israeli government. So today we're tackling the lie that has been dominating world news, the lie that Israel is intentionally starving the people in the Gaza Strip, the lie that Israel has withheld food from Gazan children, the lie that Israel is intentionally withholding medicine from sick Gazans, the lie that Israel is preventing aid from entering into the Gaza Strip. Today we're bringing that lie down. Today we're tackling that, and we are here at the TBN Israel Q&A session. We want to give you the information, and we want to give you, the viewers at home, the chance to go back and forth and ask us what's truly happening here in this land. And today we want to focus on the story of food scarcity in the Gaza Strip.
First question, Mati.
Yes.
Where did your American accent came from?
Well, you can thank my American accent to my mother, who was born in the U.S. but has been in Israel, well, much longer than I've been alive, but much longer than she lived anywhere else. And you can also thank my many colleagues and clients over the years, because I've been working in English for going on 18 years now. So whatever flaws I had in my language, they're making their way out.
Start, please share our content. It's super important to spread the truth of what is happening in Israel. Mati, you want to tell them what to do?
Yes. If you're joining us here and you are watching this live, one, I hope you care about the truth that's taking place here in this land and in this region. And the second thing you need to do is, is if you're one out of half of our viewers who isn't yet subscribed to this channel, pause this video for just a second. We'll be here exactly in the same place when we continue. You get to enjoy this live broadcast. Hopefully enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe. Press that little bell that makes sure you don't miss the next broadcast that takes place. And then share this video once. Just copy it, send it to someone on iMessage or on text message or on Insta or WhatsApp, or share it to social media. And then like the video. And what this does, it helps us get to more people with the truth. I want to tell you something. We've experienced amazing growth on this channel. You can see a ticker on the upper left-hand side of this screen that shows you how many subscribers the channel has. We were just talking about this earlier today. We were at 100 and something thousand before the war started, before October 2023. I think 140,000,
something like that. Yeah,
something like that. We passed 1 million subscribers back in the beginning of this year. I think it was in January.
Yeah,
something like that. And we're at 1.5 million already. And thank God for that, but especially thank God for all the people who care about the truth of what's happening here and care to spread that truth around the world. So let's get back to our main story today. One, we're here on the TBN Israel Boots on the Ground Live for a live Q&A session. We're downtown Jerusalem, here to share what's really happening with you. And what we want to do next is, you can go two ways with this broadcast. Way number one, or method number one, is if you just want to send some love, then go to your screen and there's a super, what is it called, Micah? There's a super chat button on the bottom right-hand side of the YouTube page where you can comment, make a small donation, and it goes to the top of the sort of comment section. Going through the questions as we do this live broadcast, and we're going to answer your questions. We're going to try to at least answer your questions, what we know, while we're doing this. And
you want to start with some question about the...
Let's go. Let's do this.
Start with a hard one that connected to the whole story. Is why did you have independent journalists in Gaza to see the lies then? Why is Israel killed over 220 journalists? So
I'm not familiar with the number 220 journalists, but immediately I'd say that I'm suspicious of that number because some of the journalists that were reported killed were Hamas terrorists
that broke out on October 7th.
On October 7th, there was a bunch of, some of them were AP, some of them were Reuters.
They work for everything, but
they were like independent contractors that worked with different agencies, but many of them came not to document, but to loot and murder on October 7th.
And to document.
And to document the murders, So when those people are killed, it's reported a journalist killed. Is a man who's carrying out active terrorism acts a journalist, or is he a terrorist?
And
I'd venture to say that he's a terrorist.
I think the reason there is no press in the Gaza Strip, like free press coming from outside, it's a war zone. And the IDF can't take care sometimes in fighting areas.
The IDF is in very select events, has brought in foreign press into the Gaza Strip, but it's very tricky because of the violence of the attacks there and having to protect them and safeguard them. Gaza is a tiny area, relatively speaking. It's very hard to protect them inside that area. What has happened, Yair, my colleague, and we'll talk about this in a second, traveled there just earlier this week, and I've done so in the past. People have been brought into the food distribution areas, and a lot of footage is being made available of what's happening in the Gaza Strip. By the way, we have on the screen right now a live feed coming out. We're live, and we're sharing a live feed coming out of Gaza right now. That's in, where is it? In Khan Yunis right now.
That's Khan Yunis.
That's Khan Yunis right now. You can see the stalls on the street. You can see the people. That's a live feed coming out of the Gaza Strip. And today we want to talk about what's really been happening there. We're debunking the lie of IDF intentionally bringing starvation or restricting food to the people of Gaza. The exact opposite has been happening for over a year and a half. The IDF has been working and spending enormous amounts of money trying to bring aid into the Gaza Strip, despite the efforts of Hamas and UN organizations to prevent the aid from reaching the people of Gaza. And we'll debunk that in a second. Tomo, do you want to take another question?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's more like a mentioning of an event that
So
happened on the New
I'll
York
summarize the
Times.
question. That there were pictures that were circulated of children that were claimed to be starved, but they both had genetic conditions that made them look really skinny. I posted about this yesterday, as did Yair, and thank you for. We can leave the names on the screen for another second. Look them up because this is how lies work in international media. They say the following: here's a picture of a starving child, and then the next day it comes out and we find out that the kid, one, isn't starving, he has a genetic condition. Two, he's receiving medical aid in Italy. This is a true story. Three, he was transferred to Italy with the help of the IDF. So not only was he not starved, his medical condition is preserved and improved by IDF help.
It was two photos of one of the children. I saw them on the New York Times, and he had a plastic bag as a diaper. But you look at the baby and this child, and you look at the mothers in the other photo.
They're not Palestinian.
No, the Palestinians, but she don't look skinny at all. She don't look like she's missing anything. And the whole set is super dramatic with a small light, and the rest is black.
Here's what Hamas does. Hamas understands that wars are shaped by public perception. And public perception is oftentimes affected by images. Images go a very, very long way. And I want to say this as we're getting started here. I care, and everyone on our team cares about the suffering of the people in Gaza. And I care about the suffering of people everywhere. And if you see an image of a starving child anywhere in the world, forget Gaza for a second, anywhere in the world, and something in your heart doesn't twist in pain to see that image, my friend, you need to go see a professional because you should feel pain for every child, regardless of what the title is on the picture, be it Palestinian or Ukrainian or Russian or Israeli. If you see a suffering person, you should feel pain for their suffering. That's the end of that. There should be no debate over that. The problem is here is they hijack that very valid emotional response. I show you a picture. Tomo, look, here's a suffering child. Tomo should respond to that. He should feel pain to that. He just doesn't know that I'm lying if I'm the Palestinians or I'm the UN here. And that kid isn't Palestinian, or he isn't actually starving. He has a medical condition that's unrelated completely.
You want to explain to our viewers maybe what is the connection between the UN and Hamas and the whole aid distribution in the Gaza Strip?
Thank you, Tomo, for keeping us on track. So here's this big story that's happening here. The story is very complex right now. The story is this. The UN and Hamas don't want it to appear as if Israel's trying to aid the people in Gaza. They're trying to build a narrative in which Israel is preventing food from reaching the people in Gaza, and in which the suffering of the people of Gaza is caused in an unfair manner, and I'm putting the emphasis on the unfair and unjust of Israel. And the reason they're trying to do that is they're trying to create a moral equation between the suffering right now of the people of Gaza, which will hopefully erase the images of the Jewish people that suffered in October 7th. That's what they're trying to do. But to do that, they're spreading a lie. The events of October 7th did take place. Hamas terrorists and people of Gaza not affiliated with Hamas did maim, murder, rape, torture, burn innocent Israelis, including women, children, and the innocent, on October 7th and on October 8th. And they did so, and if we wouldn't have stopped them, they would have continued doing so. Right now, what's happening in the Gaza Strip is that Israel is bringing thousands of trucks full of food to border crossings. And we in the past have needed UN organizations and other organizations within Gaza, humanitarian organizations, to distribute that food. And they made a decision about a month and a half ago that they'd rather people in Gaza suffer than to help Israel in bringing in aid into the Gaza Strip. And they want to do that because for them, the suffering of the people of Gaza is more important than bringing aid to them. Israel appearing to be the villain is more important than helping the people in Gaza. And hear me when I say this, because this is the absolute truth. The UN is part of this cynical, evil political scheme. It is part of doing this intentionally. And they've said openly 100 different excuses. Because of this and because of that, we can't help in distributing the food. And listen, food is rotting at the border crossings because the UN refuses to distribute it. Food is, if it enters the Gaza Strip, is usually looted by Hamas. In
and
fact,
only
it's
12% getting to.
I think it's one of eight trucks that enters the Gaza Strip actually reaches people, and the other 7 are stolen by Hamas and other factions. So Israel did this. It helped set up the operations of an organization called the GHF, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, which is a U.S. Nonprofit, and they actively bring in goods into the Gaza Strip, set up a parameter, and then bring in on foot people from Gaza. They say you're the head of a family. We don't want to check it. We're not going to validate it. Take a box full of food. It should last, I forget if it was 5 days or 7 days. Remember what it was?
It's supposed to be like 5 days.
I think it's like 5 days of food for a family of whatever the number was. Here's the box. Go and have food. Many of the people in Gaza have said that that's the first time they received aid for free since the war broke out. And I want to be honest here. Tens of thousands of trucks have entered with good. Most of them were looted by Hamas, and then they use that to fund their terrorism mechanism. That's what's happening there. It's a cynical abuse of the people of Gaza, and they, in a very clever and very malicious way.
Let's show them how it's look like. Yair just been there, and we can bring him up.
We'll show them in just 1 second. In a very malicious way, are showing the world a false image of suffering and starvation, when there is piles and piles of food waiting to enter the Gaza Strip. By the way, this isn't the first time this has happened in the war. It's not the second time. It's been happening on an ongoing basis. I was there previously and saw it with my own eyes. And Yair Pinto was there just the other day. Today is Wednesday. He was there on Sunday. He was there Sunday afternoon and saw it firsthand. I think we have a short clip showing exactly that, of what Yair saw on the ground in Gaza. יש audio?
Okay, אז let's...
I think we need another second to get the audio to work. But what you're going to see in this clip, I'll just set this up, is Yair at the Kerem Shalom border crossing, which is inside Gaza. So it's you depart Israel, you drive a ways in, and it's like a logistical center that's holding, it looks sort of like a port that's in the middle of land. And so trucks come from the Israeli side full of goods, and then trucks come from the Palestinian side to pick that up and distribute in the Gaza Strip. Many of them are hijacked by Hamas and other terrorist organizations, but mostly by Hamas. And there's been an attempt to try and reach other people. So I think we can see that clip now. Or not.
Guys, join me into the Gaza Strip, into one humanitarian distribution centers. So Israel made sure that all of this food got here from the Israeli side of the border, and then from here the United Nations is supposed to deliver this food to the Palestinians in Gaza. But they're not doing that. What they do is blaming Israel of starving the Gazan population. This is the truth of what's happening here, and there is so much food: corn, tuna cans. I'll show you. Come with me, I'll show you just now. Okay, do you see this? This says sweet Cornell corn. Okay, we have also tuna can fish. We have sugar, you see, white sugar, all written in Hebrew, meaning it came from Israel. We have tuna cans, okay, and this place is packed with humanitarian aid that is sitting in the sun because the United Nations is not delivering it to the Palestinian people, while at the same time accusing Israel of starving the Gazan population. Check it out. So much food. So much food. But what they deal with is blaming Israel. Keep praying for the peace of Jerusalem, guys.
So that was Yair Pinto on the ground in Kerem Shalom border crossing, showing you the amazing amounts of aid that are there. By the way, if you want to see like aerial images, Google it or whatever search engine you use, or use whatever AI engine you use, and say, show me images of Israeli aid going into the Gaza Strip. You're not going to believe how much is sitting there. It looks like a port in a major city anywhere you've seen in the world. So it's really important that you see those things firsthand. I want to talk to you for a second because you need to hear this from someone who was just there. Thank you. Who was that? Elon? What was the name of the person we just saw?
Elon.
no, Elma.
Elman.
Elma, who said that the UN has demonstrated to be a total failure with terrible wars. Yes, they have. We've seen El Mandalorian. Thank you, Micah. El Mandalorian. What a good name. Uh, anyway, so let's call Yair. I want to ask him a couple questions, and I want people at home to hear what really happened on the ground. Yair, we've been talking for I don't know how long we've been running, 15 minutes now, about how a lie is trying to reshape the reality and tell people that instead of aiding the people of Gaza, Israel is trying to starve the people of Gaza. Tell us what you saw when you were there on Sunday.
Yeah, Mati. Well, first of all, it's very important to go to these places yourself to get the truthful information of what really is happening, boots on the ground. And that's what I did. Because we've been hearing this campaign that Israel is starving the Gazan population, the people of Gaza. And we drove there. And the IDF also allowed us to go inside the Gaza side of the border. And what I've seen there was tons and soccer field size of humanitarian aids, meaning pallets of flour, sugar, baby formula. Mati, do you remember this false accusation by, I
Yeah,
think it was the
of the
head of the
starving
United
babies.
Nations, that the babies of Gaza are gonna starve in 48 hours if the humanitarian aid does not go through? And I was shocked to see piles of baby formula just sitting in the sun for weeks because the United Nations is not taking it and giving it to the people. It was sitting on the Gaza side after Israel inspected it and brought it in from Israel into Gaza, and it just is waiting there for the humanitarian organizations, mainly the United Nations, to give it to the people of the Gaza Strip that need it.
Yeah, I
So
think it's
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 really,
terrible.
really, really sad to see this situation and to see that Israel, despite fighting a war against terrorists, it is also making sure that food reach the Palestinian people that launched this attack against the Jewish people of Israel. So with one hand, we are feeding the Palestinian people that attacked us, and with the other, we're attacking and fighting the Hamas terrorists of the Gaza Strip. This is what I saw on the ground in Gaza. And on top of that, the IDF is trying to battle the lies of this campaign and is now doing even more by airdropping food into Gaza, meaning using our airplanes, okay, to airdrop with what's it called, like paratroopers,
Parachutes, yeah,
like
parachutes, yeah.
from parachutes from the sky, food that hopefully will reach the Palestinian people. I asked the IDF spokesperson's um, commander, what are the chances that Hamas will take control of this aid? And he said that the reason that the IDF is not coordinating this airdrop with Hamas, unlike the shipments via the trucks that is coordinated with the United Nations, that most of the employees are also employed by Hamas, then because there is no connection, then the chances of reaching the actual people of Gaza that need this aid is a lot bigger. Okay? So that's another way where like the IDF is trying its best to reach the people of Gaza and not the terrorists of Hamas.
It's such a crazy image to me though when you think about it. We're fighting a war against Hamas on the one hand, and we're doing everything we can, including putting the lives of soldiers in danger and spending our own money to feed our enemies. And then our enemies and the international organizations that are paid for by international tax money, instead of bringing the aid, are openly saying, we just rather that the aid doesn't get to these people because you're the ones who brought it. We'd rather they don't get any aid. It's like it's mind blowing that they'd rather choose the suffering of the people of Gaza over them receiving aid as long as Israel looks bad, as long as Israel looks like the villain. It's sick. It's such a perverted thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's very sad. It's very sad. And as a soldier, as an officer in the IDF, I can tell you firsthand that you can vouch for that as well, that the IDF soldiers are doing everything that they
Yeah.
can including risking their own lives in order to make sure that the civilian casualties in this war is as low as possible. While Hamas, the terrorist organization, is doing the exact opposite, trying to make sure that they have more casualties amongst the civilian population, the highest number as possible. That's better for Hamas. That's why they chose to place their command positions inside hospitals, schools, mosques, United Nations buildings, and inside the civilian population.
Wait,
This is
yeah,
who we're fighting.
I have a question for you. When you were there just now, did they give an explanation? Did the IDF give an explanation? Because it's run by Palestinian workers, if I remember correctly, and Kogat, which is sort of responsible for coordinating. Did they know to explain why they're not able to bring in the aid right now? Why it's piling up on the Israeli side?
Yeah, they said that the United Nations is joining in this false campaign of Hamas against Israel. The United Nations is not happy with the fact that Israel and the United States of America are distributing the aid using the GHF, and basically they want to bring the food in the old way that they've used to, in which almost 90% of the shipments would be seized by Hamas immediately. They do not want us to find new ways to reach the Palestinian people, which is very sad because
So
it
terrible.
seems like they are aligning with Hamas instead of trying to find ways to help the people of Gaza that need it.
Yeah, we're going to let you go, one, to get your kids home, and two, if people are watching this, we have, when is it airing? Saturday?
Yeah, this Saturday.
We have on Saturday a report of Yair at the Kerem Shalom crossing, reporting from exactly that aid distribution, so you can get the full picture, literally and figuratively speaking, of how it really looked on the ground. So you can look forward to that over the weekend. Thank you, Yair. Safe travels.
Thank you, Mati.
And
Thank you.
I commend you on stopping on the side of the road when you're doing the live broadcast.
Yeah, my wife will be very, very proud of me.
Safety first.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're back. Just to reiterate, if you want to watch the full report that airs on Saturday, what is it, like 8 p.m. US?
Yeah,
Uh,
like that. It's early.
Saturday, 8 p.m. US, you can watch the full report of what's happening on the ground in the Kerem Shalom crossing. Yair Pinto was there on Sunday, and he's going to be reporting on that. So just to recap, guys, if you're joining this live broadcast, this is TBN Israel live Q&A. We're here to answer your questions. We have time for another good round of...
Before, maybe you tell them about our partner for today?
Yes, let's pull that up in our script. Thank you for the reminder, Tomel. Where is it in the script?
It's the,
If was that? Do we have the link?
yeah.
Here we go. Okay, one for Israel. Okay, so we have a very, very special partner for this this show, and I say this every time, and somehow it always is true. We try to tell the truth. So our partner right now is One for Israel. And today we want to highlight the amazing work of One for Israel, which is a powerful ministry bringing hope through humanitarian aid and the gospel of peace to the people of Israel. And in this heart of conflict, both Jews and Arabs are uniting under the name of Jesus, Yeshua, as we say in Hebrew. Their online media ministry is reaching millions of people. Actually, I think it's tens of millions. It's over 90 million views on their Hebrew gospel channels in Israel alone. And they're not just preaching. They're raising up the next generation of pastors and leaders at the Bible College right here in the land of Israel. These are people I know personally. These are people I vouch for personally. Amazing team of people, honest, God-fearing individuals. Right now, you can be part of what they're doing, preaching the gospel, reaching the people of Israel, training people in Israel, and doing humanitarian work. So head to oneforisrael.org, check out their teaching resources, download their free 31-day prayer guide to help you pray with purpose during this very critical time that we're living in. Guys, I want to tell you one more thing before I give you the address. People have asked the question many times of how can they act for Israel? How can they help the people of Israel? And you can do a couple things. You can pray, you can learn, which is part of what we do here at TBN Israel. And you can also make an active donation. And these are people worth getting behind. I'm saying this both personally and behalf of our TBN Israel team. So take a minute, visit the oneforisrael.org/pray website. It's on the screen right now on the bottom left-hand corner, or you can scan the QR code and go there directly. And if you're on YouTube, you can visit the link in the description of this video, probably now and also after the show airs. We'll double check that it's there. It's oneforisrael.org/pray, or scan the QR code on the screen. Let's stand with Israel. Let's unite in faith, and let's be part of what God is doing in this land right now. These people are the real deal, guys. Make sure you go check out their website and leave something behind. When you leave, make a donation, subscribe, make sure you connect with what they're doing here on the ground. Let's recap. We're here talking about the biggest war that's taking place in this region right now, the war over the truth, a campaign of deception, a smear campaign against the people of Israel, a dirty, filthy lie that is trying to claim that Israel and the IDF are intentionally starving the people of Gaza. We talked about this. We talked about the UN's involvement. We talked about how this lie is intentional, how news outlets are intentionally spreading false media, knowing full well that once a smear piece is out, when you retract that piece the next day, it makes absolutely no difference in the perception of people over what's happening. Once the lie is out, the lie keeps spreading, and that's exactly what's happening here. We're seeing a response in a rise of anti-Semitic rhetoric, anti-Semitic attacks, and even diplomatic pressure on Israel, all tied into this lie campaign that has been running for weeks now. Now, we want to take a couple minutes and answer your questions. There's a link on the side of the screen. You can give a chat or ask a question. We want to hear what you have to say and what you want to know about what's happening here on the ground. So, question: why is the UN still involved? They're helping the evil people. That's Pamela Countryman. Yes, the UN is helping the evil people, and Israel has had a real problem dealing with the UN. In the Gaza Strip, the UN were involved in hiding Hamas weapons within their schools and their facilities. Their employees and executives in their organization were involved in the attacks of October 7th. They are as corrupt as you could possibly be, and they're also not effective in what they do. And yet they're the people given the mandate by the UN to aid the people in Gaza. It's terrible, but that is a reality, and we have a serious problem dealing with them. Not only that, not only are they ineffective, they also support terrorism in an active way. And now they're even worse. The little that they should be doing, which is distributing aid given to them by others, they refuse to do because it makes Israel look good. They'd rather the people in Gaza suffer than help them. I can go on. Tomer and I were in Hezbollah terror tunnels in, were we in Syria, Lebanon?
Lebanon.
In Lebanon. We were in Lebanon. It's been a while. We were in Lebanon, and they were built right under UN facilities. I mean, you would have to be deaf and blind not to see Hezbollah heavy machinery digging for years and building the infrastructure there. They knew it was there. In fact, behind almost every UN outpost on the Lebanese or Syrian border, you would be able to find terrorism infrastructure. They're that intertwined in the way they operate in that region. Next question.
Okay, so there is a couple of questions. Let's start.
Why don't you ask the U.S. people to mass upon the UN in New York City and demand a protest for feeding the Gaza people? I think that's a great idea, as long as it's done in a non-violent way. I would be very, very supportive of that. I think the UN is one of the most corrupt organizations that exist, and it's understandable because it is run mostly by non-democratic countries. The majority of the countries that are parties to the UN don't support the agenda of the US, don't support the agenda of Israel. They are anti-democratic at their core and led by non-democratic leaders. So it's not a surprise that most of their bandwidth is dedicated to things unrelated to human rights. In fact, I'll go a little further. I just went on a deep dive of UN activities because it's something I've studied personally and professionally over the years. Someone did a metadata analysis, which is a big word to say, aggregated a lot of information for many, many years. And they found that over the past 15 years, the UN has departed farther and farther away from actually dealing with issues that have to do with human right violations. And the reason for that is because they never want to talk about anything that could come back and talk about an issue that they have internally. Why would you want to talk about violating the rights of women when you too violate the rights of women? So what do you talk about? You talk about issues that are unrelated. Israel, the Palestinian conflict. You talk about resolutions that don't really bear any weight for any international effect. Let's discuss treaties that have to do with pollution. Let's discuss this and that. Let's condemn this and let's condemn that. Let's never get to talking about anything that would really reflect anything that's happening internally. So you have countries that have civil wars going on, condemning Israel for its acts of violence, where in fact they're murdering their own population. You have countries that are, or members of the UN that are doing horrific acts, but they want to divert their attention to talking only about Israel and what Israel is doing. Very valid point. Thank you for bringing that up.
And let's go on.
They should pack different groceries in boxes. What must they do with a whole box of corn or tuna? That's why they're starving. No, that's an incorrect statement. The way this works is the aid is supposed to be brought in. We don't give pallets of food to families. The pallets are brought into distribution centers run by UN agencies and other. There's there's what is called the World Kitchen, World Food Kitchen. There's a bunch of big organizations that have centers where they distribute food to lists of people. So in other words, you'd bring into like a logistical center truckloads of, it'd be tuna, it'd be corn, it'd be this, it'd be that. And then they, based on the family and the people that come in, they give them boxes or bags or a combination of goods. What Israel has been doing together with the GHF, which is the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, is they'll do exactly that. There'll be a box that has food staples in it: flour, oil, perishables, vegetables, fruit, protein sources, etc. And they'll give a box to a family, so they have everything they need for a week or 5 days, I think. So yes, there is a diverse sort of sources of food that are distributed, and they're done through third parties. Israel isn't able and shouldn't honestly be distributing the goods to the people of Gaza. If there was a virtuous government, they should distribute it. But since there isn't, it's done through different organizations.
Those organizations also, some of them are totally against Israel. They some of them declaring that the 7th of October didn't happen. Some of them, we don't know who found them or where their money coming from. And they sometimes helping to distribute or to take the food out of the Gazan people and help to Hamas. Because Hamas have so many ways or so many layers, let's call it, on top of the just military position. And through all of those years, Hamas used those aid organization to found
to perpetuate their control.
Yeah.
Let's say that in a positive sense. If I were to say that even if an aid organization didn't want to cooperate with Hamas and only wanted to give food directly to the people of Gaza, they'd have a very hard time, because the Gaza Strip is controlled and has been for many, many years by a vicious and violent terrorist organization. The fact is, many of these organizations don't actually want to help the people, and they do have a political agenda that is more anti-Israel than it is pro-people of Gaza. That's the sad reality. We have time, I think, for a couple more questions, and then we need to wrap up.
We have like 60 lined up. So
okay, so let's do like a blitz. Let's do a blitz round. Well, Micah, you're the moderator, so you make the pick.
You want me to pick them?
Yeah. Go on.
You want me to read 60 questions? We'll run out of time.
Hold on. Let me find something good though. This guy has been sending this over and over. So read this.
Do you know how many tons of aid Israel has paid for and sent into Gaza? No. Israel hasn't officially admitted to being the one paying for the aid going into the Gaza Strip, but it's assumed by many in Israel and internationally that we're paying for at least much of the aid that's going into Gaza, and the number is in the billions of dollars at this point. How much of the aid is going in? Also a complicated question. It's hundreds of trucks per day over hundreds of days, so that's tens of thousands of trucks. It's a lot of money and a lot of food, but it's an unknown percentage of the aid that's going in. And it's also unknown how much of it actually reaches people, because most of the aid that goes into Gaza is robbed by Hamas and then resold at a premium. Next question.
Next question.
Let's keep them going. Micah.
Go.
Can drones be used to protect the Gaza Strip while food is shipped in? Yes, drones are used to surveil and control, but the problem is the Gaza Strip is controlled by Hamas terrorists, and it makes it very hard to control it. What we've tried to do is we've used the GHF to sort of close off an area, fence it in, and then allow people to come in and make sure that they leave with food in their hand.
Mati,
and Hamas in response shoots those people to prevent them from receiving the aid.
Or dropping grenades on the aid centers.
Yes.
What was the thing that the GHF had said?
Yesterday, the CEO of the GHF, Johnny Moore, He says that the UN is cynically abusing the people of Gaza to promote a political agenda over giving aid to them. His words were it was cynical abuse or political use of the people of Gaza. I think it's a very telling quote.
He just said that Hamas is lying and the UN is faking the whole
Hamas
thing.
lies and the UN lies too. There's no question about it.
But Micha, we have more questions?
Yeah, here's an interesting one. They have a spy idea.
Can you put trackers on some of the food going into Gaza? We don't need to. The food is much of the food that goes in is labeled. You'll see labels on the boxes and stuff like that. And almost every time Hamas sells things on the stores, you'll see this in many of the images of vendors on the streets of Gaza. It'll say on it, humanitarian aid not for resale. It'll say that in the stores, and someone, Hamas, sold that aid at a premium to that merchant on the street. And he's now reselling what was supposed to be free aid. It's very easy to track. It's mostly stolen.
Okay, so Rafiach, we have the live. Can we put the live stream from the Gaza Strip? Because
it's sorry, that was my bad. That's Khan Yunis.
That's Khan Yunis. Okay.
So there's a live feed from Khan Yunis. That is a market in Khan Yunis right now, and the market in Khan Yunis has goods. Much of them were probably sadly stolen from aid that was paid for by the American people or the European people or generous people around the world that were trying to help the people of Gaza, and instead it's being sold at a premium to them. It's very upsetting, and it's simply a reality that exists on the ground in Gaza, and it takes extreme measures to try to give the aid directly to the people of Gaza.
So, Mati, you want to summarize for us what?
Let me summarize.
We're learning.
Sorry
today?
for whoever didn't get to answer this question. We'll try to do more. Maybe one last question, and then we'll wrap. Michael, do you have one last potent question for us?
Yeah, I'm trying to find something that's relevant to this subject. Okay, we can try this.
What? Where?
We lost it.
I don't know.
Why not reach out and get Gazans to distribute food? Israel has actively tried to do that. We've worked with some of the more Bedouin-affiliated tribes, and specifically in the southern district in Gaza. And Shabab, they have different nicknames. Anyway, there's sort of like these criminal gangs that do smuggling also before the war. We try to work together with them to distribute and to gather intel, etc. And it works to a limited degree. Look, again, Hamas is willing to kill people to prevent them from getting free aid. That's how vicious they are. So, it makes it very, very hard to distribute aid when they're willing to mow down with a machine gun the people waiting in line to receive the food, when they're willing to fire RPGs into this distribution area, when they're willing to throw grenades at aid workers that are trying to distribute free food. That's what they do. It makes it incredibly hard and dangerous to distribute food when they're willing to kill anyone to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, we saw the videos of Hamas terrorists in the tunnel just eating.
Oh, man. Thank you for bringing that up. We forgot to mention that. There were images. People talk about starvation. Can I do this? Here, let me pull up
in the IDF.
The map. Let's call it.
Dover Tzahal, IDF spokesperson.
Hamas terrorists in tunnel. But try to look. I'll summarize what it is. It's an image of Hamas terrorists inside a terror tunnel eating food. But what's interesting about those terrorists is that they're fat. And by fat, I mean they're really fat. They're all these plump guys that look like they've been overeating junk food for months at this point. And they're waving all the food that they have in the tunnel. And this is something that was captured from them. They didn't distribute this information. But you look at it and say, this is the starvation they're talking about. These people look like they should be on a diet, not, honestly. The Hamas terrorists, they were borderline obese. They weren't even just.
There's not a lot of room to run down there.
No, but they're sitting, they're eating, they're bragging about all the food that they have, and the guy that's eating, he's very overweight. We have it.
Yes, Sam. If you can share my screen.
No, you.
Oh, wait a second. Okay.
Yeah. So, as you can see, they see.
Okay, look at this guy. Does this guy look? Does this guy? I'm not trying to body shame him, but the topic of this conversation is starvation. This man is not a starving man. Let's be honest here. And he's showing off. Look, we have all the fruit. And it's fresh fruit. By the way, how does fresh fruit get into the Gaza Strip? From Israel. These are Hamas terrorists in a tunnel eating fresh fruit that came from Israel. And so people are trying to make this point about starvation. These terrorists look like they're this guy looks like he's healthy enough. The other guy looked like he needs to like ease off the candy. Anyway, so guys, let's wrap up here. Just to summarize, there is a war of deception that's taking place around the world. We're trying to report on that on a regular basis. If you haven't done so yet, like, share, and subscribe. We need all the support we can get. Once more, this show today is partnered by One for Israel, who are doing amazing work on the ground, bringing the truth of what's happening here in Israel around the world, giving humanitarian aid, bringing the gospel to the people of Israel, and training people in this land. Make sure you visit their website. It's oneforisrael.org/pray. These are the real deal here in Israel. People I know personally, I can vouch for them personally. They are worth a visit. Make sure you visit their website, make a donation today to help support them in Israel. Guys, thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for sharing the truth. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and bring the truth from Israel, which is where we're sitting right now, to people around the corners of the earth. Thank you for being with us, and may God's peace be with you wherever you are around the world.